17th of November, 2020. Another edition of Ice Time with yours truly, Nick Holberg. Thank you for joining us today on the episode that has a lot to talk about and an episode that's hard to conduct. After the news we got last Friday night from the governor of North Dakota, Mr. Doug Burgum, that sports are going to be put on the shelf until the middle of December. On today's show, we'll talk to Wade Reger, the head coach of the MSU men's hockey team. We're going to find out if the Beavers fall into this category. Will the Beavers continue to play, or are they done until the 16th or 15th, 14th, whatever day it is in December? I believe it's the 14th. Or are they going to get to continue to play? Hopefully they continue to play. Hopefully the fingers are crossed that they're not affected by this. Youth hockey in Minot in North Dakota is affected by this, and they will not play until the 14th of December. We'll talk to their program director, Brian Bauman, about this decision, his thoughts on it, his advice for the kids. We're also going to dive a little bit further into the last matchups for the Beavers, where they won on Saturday but lost on Friday. We'll have the highlights of the game. We'll end the show on a happy note with some hockey highlights because we played last weekend. First and foremost, before we continue, this is not a political show. I have no interest in talking politics with anybody. Not on a microphone. Maybe in my garage out here, but not on a microphone, not as a career, not as a choice. However, there's some questions that have arisen after this decision was made last Friday night that make me question some things, and unfortunately, we go down a political slope now. Another thing that needs to be noted, first of all, with everybody, I think that is in this conversation, nobody wants to see anybody ill from COVID-19. Condolences to anyone that has had a loss or suffered a loss from this. I had COVID-19. I was a lucky one. It wasn't that too terribly bad. Thank you to everybody that works in a hospital, doctors, that whole field. Thank you for what you do and what you continue to do. I'm aware that it's not easy. Where I'm coming from and what I just can't wrap my brain around is that we go from 25% capacity inside restaurants and bars with sports being able to be played to all of a sudden bumping this up to 50% capacity and no sports being played. We're walking a fine line here on me rustling some feathers, and that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm also not trying to tank my own business. My business floats off of bars and restaurants and their sponsorships. I have a lot of good friends that are in that industry. I do not want to see any of those businesses go under. I don't want to see anybody in a bad situation across the board. Nobody wants that. I just have some questions, and I'm sure there's other people around the community here wondering, how in the hell can we shut down youth activities, but then bump the amount of people up that can be in a bar all day? It doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it, and I don't understand it. What's the solution? I don't know that we're going to have one. I don't know if we're going to find one here. It's certainly not going to be me that's got it, but I do know one thing. I've got a voice, and I've got the opportunity to tell you kids that are out there and parents out there, stay positive. Find a way to be positive in this situation. Mental health is real. Mental health with kids is real. I'm speaking from experience. That's where my fear of this whole thing comes from. That's where my frustration in this whole thing comes from. I pulled an article up earlier on today that I wanted to read to you folks, and it comes from Times Magazine online, and it was from the 20th of October, 2020. And the article says, quote unquote, the sports stoppage, however, came with steep costs for those who dedicated their lives in pursuit of victory. According to a study released Tuesday from Stanford University and Strava, a social network of exercise enthusiasts, 22.5% of professional athletes reported feeling down or depressed on more than half of the days of the week in the period between March and August of this year, while COVID-19 restrictions on athletic training and competition were in place. That's compared to 3.9% of those athletes reporting the same struggles earlier this year before the pandemic hit. That's an increase of 477%. 477% increase on this study alone that found that these athletes, without being able to be a part of their sport, train, exercise, compete, found themselves feeling down and depressed. That's scary to me. In a situation now where we enter winter here in North Dakota, where seasonal depression is already a big deal. It's dark by 6 p.m. This is scary stuff. This study also goes on to say the pandemic is also taking a mental health toll on pretty much everyone else. Of course. But these numbers are startling, given that exercise has been shown to help mitigate issues like depression and anxiety. Into my terms, into how I would say this. As a young kid, all the way through the time I finished playing hockey in 2004, coming through the Minot hockey program, playing for Minot High for a couple years, my freshman and sophomore year, then moving on to play for the junior gold program, the Oilers, back in 03 and 04. Without hockey, without the ability to get on the ice, handful of times a week, what would my life have been like? How would have I turned out? How much different would I be? Would I even be here today? Hockey was a lifesaver in many, many ways for me. Helped keep your nose clean, to be on the roster. You're not going to do anything dumb because you want to be able to play. Battling anxiety and depression, mental health issues, having that outlet, having that release, X amount of times a week, being able to get on the ice, being able to be in the locker room with your teammates, being able to be a part of something more than just yourself. I think we need to be very, very cautious moving forward. In the next month, I think that we need to really, as a community, come together. We're all on one team now. Doesn't matter where you're from around the state of North Dakota. Hockey players should stick together. Athletes should stick together. Let's worry about each other. Let's make sure everybody is okay. Find a positive here. How do we do that? It's hard for me. Look, I'm still the same guy I was when I was 18 years old. Some things have changed. A little fatter. Now I have a goatee, obviously. But for me, I still live for the game of hockey. I still live to go to Minot High, Bismarck High, wherever that game may be on a Tuesday night in the middle of winter. I live for that. Yes, I live for other things also. My family, my friends. I have a lot of things that I love in life. But hockey is at the top of that list. And I know I'm not the only one. And now you've taken that away from all of these people across the state. And we need to be more cautious and careful than ever with how we proceed with each other. Find positivity. Moms and dads at the dinner table, I'm not telling you how to run your family, but let's talk about this tonight. Let's talk to your kids about this. Kids, let's talk to mom and dad about it. Share your feelings. Let's find a way to get back into a positive light here, possibly. How do we do that? I don't know. Here's an idea for you. This is just an idea. We've got a month now. We've got an extra month before the season is going to start. Some of you youth players, it already has started. You got a couple games in and then boom, you're done. Okay? Here's how I look at it. You've got an opportunity now for one more month to do all the preparation and training that you missed out on this summer to play catch up. Same with you high school kids. You've got a whole extra month to make sure that your body is in peak physical condition. That time you're supposed to be practicing, put in 3 or 4 more minutes on every exercise you're going to do. Make it an extra hour a day. Take it to the extremes. 100 lunges isn't enough. Let's do 150 for the first week. How about 200 the next week every day? How about we shoot 100 pucks instead of 50 tonight? Let's get into a situation and a frame of mind and a body frame, physical state is what I'm trying to say, where we come into the season ready to go, leaving it all out on the ice. Let this be your 1 month warning. You've got 1 month to get it together and have the best season of your life because, frankly, we just found out, again, that we don't know when and if or ever if we're going to get to play. Don't take it for granted. Be positive. Come out of this with something to look forward to. Look, I'm not a doctor, but I'm in the same boat. And I believe that if anybody out there can see the future of what's happening here with everything going on, we need to be careful moving forward. There's people out there you can talk to if it gets that bad, by the way, with the mental health stuff. Numbers on our website, psp.network. I'd love to talk hockey with you. I'm always here for anybody that needs an ear to vent to. Or if you just want to talk the game, more than happy to do it. Let's come out of this better than we went into it. I know it's hard to do. I know it's hard to see that. Let's find the positivity. Let's try to find the positivity. And let's get ready for puck drop when it does actually happen. Hard to talk about this. We should be getting geared up for sports right now, and I know that there's many people out there that are in the same boat that we're in right now talking. Find a way to be positive. We're going to talk to Brian Bauman, the program director of Minot Hockey Boosters, when we come back. We'll see what his insight is after the meetings across the state of North Dakota with the North Dakota Amateur Hockey Association. He's on that board as well. He's going to have some insight for us. And then we'll talk to Wade Reger and see if the Beavers are going to continue to play. Stay positive. We'll find a way. It's Ice Time with Nick Holberg here on the PSP Network. The 30-inch Galactic Pizza is out of this world. There's nothing like it anywhere else in Minot. Too much to handle? Try one of our famous large specialty pizzas like the Blue Buffalo. Get the best pizza in Minot and play some laser tag. At Planet Pizza, South Broadway, Minot.
If you told me 10 years ago I'd be a dad, homeowner, and business partner, I wouldn't have believed it. There's lots of reasons I chose First Western.
Hey Lloyd, how are you today?
Locally owned, community invested, convenient, but most of all, whatever I need, wherever I am, I can count on them.
First Western Bank and Trust. You can bank on us.
The magic of what we do really comes down to combining different aspects of patient care. Here at Premier Chiropractic, we love combining soft tissue work, the adjustment, and exercises together. We found that this gets the best results for our patients. We have 3 chiropractors to fit the needs of the entire family, a rehab area for our exercises and equipment for any athlete to improve performance. Give us a call and we will get you back to doing what you love.
Life is all about moments. Big moments. Small moments. And those moments you can't put into words. It's how we at First International Bank and Trust live first and have been for more than 110 years. One customer, one family, one moment at a time. First International Bank and Trust. Live first.
Here, and of course we want to bring you on to talk about the future of our kids and what this means for hockey and the hockey program that houses so much activity for so many youth in our area. First question for you, I mean, where do you stand as the program director on this news? Obviously, we want to keep everybody safe and nobody wants anybody to get sick, but is this the right call and where do we go from here?
You know, you're hesitant a little bit on both ways, but you know, the everything that you're reading and everything you're seeing, you know, it's not coming from this age group. The kids are doing everything they've been told. We've been very proactive on, you know, adding the face masks and time in the locker rooms and coaches wearing masks and, you know, doing everything they've been asked to do and to get up and running and have everything going. It's you know, it was kind of a rough pill to swallow Friday, especially, you know, we had the kids play that weekend. You know, we finished out Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and, you know, it was a rough day on Sunday in the locker room with the teams.
The biggest concern that I have, and my number one question for you, and obviously, you know, you're the director of Minot Hockey Boosters. You deal with the youth. I don't know if you have a doctorate degree in psychology, but I know that you do in hockey. I mean, the mental health is the number one concern that comes to my mind when I think about this. And I just put myself, you know, speaking from experience. I mean, To me, that is the number one concern here moving forward. How much of a concern is that to you, Brian, with youth hockey and youth sports in general, and what that means for these kids that don't have an outlet now?
I think that's something that I don't want to say is new, but it really hits home, and you realize it once it starts affecting it. Everybody talks about it, and some people say, well, it's not that big of a deal, or is that big of a deal? I think it's a huge deal for the kids. Having taken away or having restrictions on being able to play is one thing. Totally shutting it down is another. Not being able to travel or maybe go to a tournament is one thing, but them not being able to play or compete against the same kids that they're currently interacting with at school in the same guidelines is very tough. But again, on the mental health part, you don't realize it until it actually starts affecting you. And in my 13, 14 years of doing this, we haven't really had something like this occur where you see it affecting the kids, and I don't want to say their attitudes, but their emotions. And it's very rare that you see a group of 10, 11, or 12-year-olds get upset if it wasn't involving like losing a big game or maybe getting in trouble in school or having to get disciplined. I mean, they're physically upset, and it's seen, and it's scary more than anything, because there's really nothing you can do for them besides try to be positive about it.
How do you be positive? What is the message? I mean, I guess that's been my number one thing, just to get real with you here for a minute. Look, the PSP network doesn't survive without sports. That's the least of my concerns right now. I'm worried about the kids that don't have the opportunity to play. Yes, I don't want anybody to pass away. I don't want anyone to get sick. Obviously, who do we think that we are as a society? Nobody wants that. It's just this flip of what we're able to do, what we're able to not do. How do you explain that to these young kids where, look, mom and dad still get to go to the bar and do what they want to do, but we can't play? And I know that I don't want to pigeonhole you here and put you down a bad path, because obviously we don't want anybody to have their business shut down here, but how tough is that message to the kids, and trying to find a positive light to preach this that just is really kind of tough for us hockey people to make sense of, I guess?
I think it's very difficult. The hardest part, and what you always want to be with all the kids that you're dealing with, is you want to be honest with them, right? I mean, so if they're looking at you, and how can you give them a legit answer if one of them is to say, well, coach, how am I able to go to school with every half the kids that are on my team, and the other half of the kids go to another school and they're all together all day? Why aren't we allowed to? It's kind of like those explaining the maybe even Christmas or Easter for some of them is it's a faith thing in it, and they trust in you that you're going to be honest with them. And the only thing you can really tell them is that you don't understand. Again, we want to support our businesses and organizations that support us, and we want them to be able to be open and survive as well. Because we're not where we are without them. But the only ones that are really facing this and taking the full brunt of it is the kids. And all you can tell them is that you don't understand. Keep doing what they're asked to do to a certain extent. At some point, I think we're going to hit a breaking point where we're going to have to say enough's enough, and whether it's not affiliated with stuff, that these kids are going to have the release. Some of them, this is all they look forward to, and we take pride in that this is their out. Maybe they're not great students. They struggle in school, or, they're struggling at home for something, yet for that hour and a half that they're on the rink, they're loving life. And that's our job to do for them.
100%. I know that you've been in meetings. I know that there's a lot of conversation. You're at the top of the hill for Minot Hockey and the Minot Hockey Boosters. what is the longevity here? Do we think that by the 14th of December, is it a for sure thing that this is going to raise, or what does the future hold in your mind? And I guess that's maybe more than anything what we're looking for out of you here today is where do we go from here, and how long will this really last? Do you have any idea?
I don't have a clear, full answer on it if that'd be a hard deadline date or not. I am also on the state board of NDAHA, which is North Dakota Amateur Hockey Association. And we are in the process, hopefully today, of sending into legislatures. I know I have been on the phone with 2 legislators giving information and how this is affecting us. But as a group, all of the affiliates, whether it be Minot, Grand Forks, Bismarck, West Fargo, Hazen, Mandan, all around the state have come together with a proposal to, at absolute worst, allow us to play in our home communities. Is it 100%? I don't know, but it's a best 2 scenario that gets the kids back on the ice as soon as possible, and not just ice. If that means that we are able to be on the ice, it means that kids are able to be on the basketball court or gymnastics or swimming or soccer or dance or choir, any activity, acting, whatever it may be. Obviously, I deal with the hockey side of it, but we're trying to push forward that this is for all youth activities. So at state level, we're hoping that gets across hard. I mean, you're dealing with about, between coaches and players, about 12,000, the size of about 12,000 citizens, community reps. So hopefully that's able to put a little bit of a nudge in somebody to look further or make sure they're digging deep and can say they still think they're doing the right thing, which may change it.
Great job, Brian. I guess that's when you sign up for this job. I'm sure 7 years ago you never thought in your wildest dreams that you'd be talking to legislators about whether or not we could play hockey next Saturday afternoon. And I know it's not an easy thing to go to bat and to be there in those hard conversations or even speaking about this topic here on Ice Time. I mean, great job to you and the Hockey Boosters. Keep fighting the good fight, I guess. And final thing I have for you, kids that are listening to this program here today, what would you say to them directly? What is your message?
Our message is one, obviously try to stay as positive as you're able to. 2, continue doing stuff towards the game. Try to find alternate routes, whether it's shooting pucks in your driveway, basement, at the tennis courts, or hopefully once the outdoor rinks get going, if they're up sooner, or if the park district does decide tonight to open the facility to private rentals, to be able to get on the ice and use that outlet of hockey as much as possible.
Brian, I appreciate your time today. Thank you so much. And again, please pass on the word to everybody on that Hockey Boosters board and yourself, Sarah, everybody at the office there. Great job.
Thanks, Nick.
The 30-inch Galactic Pizza is out of this world. There's nothing like it anywhere else in Minot. Too much to handle? Try one of our famous large specialty pizzas like the Blue Buffalo. Get the best pizza in Minot and play some laser tag at Planet Pizza, South Broadway, Minot.
If you told me 10 years ago I'd be a dad, homeowner, and business partner, I wouldn't have believed it. There's lots of reasons I chose First Western.
Hey Lloyd, how are you today?
Locally owned, community invested, convenient, but most of all, whatever I need, wherever I am, I can count on them.
First Western Bank and Trust. You can bank on us.
The magic of what we do really comes down to combining different aspects of patient care. Here at Premier Chiropractic, we love combining soft tissue work, the adjustment, and exercises together. We found that this gets the best results for our patients. We have 3 chiropractors to fit the needs of the entire family, a rehab area for our exercises and equipment for any athlete to improve performance. Give us a call and we will get you back to doing what you love.
Life is all about moments. Big moments. Small moments. And those moments you can't put into words. It's how we at First International Bank and Trust live first and have been for more than 110 years. One customer, one family, one moment at a time. First International Bank and Trust. Live first.
It's Friday the 13th, and it's an ACHA college hockey matchup tonight that features the defending national champion Mountain State University Beavers on their home ice, taking on the Jamestown Jimmies. Good evening and welcome into the Pepsi Rink here at Mesa Arena for ACHA college hockey tonight. Trying to wheel and deal down low, gets it to Rhett Locke, back door, here's a drive, they scored! What a play that was, came back to the top for Drew Carter and he tucks it home, 1-0 Beavers.
Good patience there by Barley on the sidewall, waiting for his players to come in.
Here's the puck in front of the net, Chavez Leach fires and scores off the backhand, put that one past Duran on the glove side. Down low underneath the net, Pollock's going to take it here, coughed it up, Chavez Leach with the big frame, shoots it in front, oh, they scored! Back-to-back goals for the Jimmies as Chavez Leach put that one onto a tee for Ginger, and Ginger put it into the top shelf, and Jamestown leads 2-1. Amzinski body on the far side wall. In front of Duran, puck comes out, they fired and scored again, and the defensive turnover finds the Jimmies on top, 3-1 as that one came out in front of the cage. Late 80s, early 90s. Might have had Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League teams. Puck's turned over. Garrison's got it. Turns, fires. Oh, he beat Duran clean. It's 4-1 as Garrison walks in, fires and scores his second of the game. Puck comes back away in the corner. Here come the Beavers out to center ice, and Carter's got the clear-cut breakaway. Shorthanded in, fires. He scored! Second goal of the game, and it's a shorthanded tally for Drew Carter. Took it from Paul O'Connor. The shorthanded goal has the Beavers back within 2. Davis Sheldon trying to wheel his way into the offensive zone with it. Doyle sent it back across over to Wheeler on the far line. Down underneath the net. Walrick, no-look pass right in front. Shot, save, rebound. Oh, they scored! On the doorstep, putting it home, Nick Doyle. Take that Augers in with it, turns it and fires, save, shot, rebound off of the goaltender and into the back of the net. It's 5-3 down to the corner. Right in front of the net, Dan Richter is going to fire that one home over the glove of Duran. And it's 6-3 Jamestown. Up to O'Connor. Now Sheldon has it. Turns it and fires it. Brower made the stop. Rebound out in front. Barley scored. Goes back to Barley. Sends it in front, 48, turns it, fires back to Pollock. One time, scored! Beavers are going to get one late with 35.6 left in the hockey game. First of his career as a Beaver. And mark it down to the books as Braden Pollock scores a big one for MSU. And off the draw, the faceoff won back by Crom, and this one's over. Here tonight, Jamestown gets the win 6-5 over MSU on Mountain State's home ice.
Life is all about moments. Big moments. Small moments. And those moments you can't put into words. It's how we at First International Bank and Trust live first and have been for more than 110 years. One customer, one family, one moment at a time. First International Bank and Trust. Live first.
Back on ice time with the Mountain State University Beavers head hockey coach, Mr. Wade Reger. Coach, first of all, thanks for a little bit of time today. How are you doing after the weekend and the split with Jamestown?
Doing pretty good, man. We're fortunate that we're still playing games.
That's the question that a lot of people are asking, and question number one here today. I know that there's game scheduled coming up. Will Mountain State men's hockey be able to continue, or do they fall into that category of teams that will not be able to play?
Fortunately for us, in the governor's last executive order, universities were exempt as they follow our own set of guidelines for what is required to return to play and all those types of things. And so we're very fortunate that we're still able to play some games. We've got 4 games remaining, which have been, pushed back anyways, for various reasons. But we're just fortunate to be able to play Jamestown and Mary, which are still playing, kind of that last first week of December to kind of wrap up our fall and kind of set the tone for the second semester.
Excited to hear that news. That's fantastic news on this front here today. Great stuff. Let's talk about this last weekend. And I don't know if you would classify it as great or not with your 900% winning percentage, but a split in a home and home on the weekend. Are you satisfied with coming out of there 500 with Jamestown after last weekend?
Absolutely. You know what? We certainly had some challenging times in the last few weeks, having our own internal COVID-related issues, and we've kind of worked our way through those. We certainly had a shorter bench than normal on Friday, and we don't want to make any excuses about why we had that or whatnot. But I was proud of our guys. We got down, we made some mental mistakes defensively that we knew we needed to correct, kind of going forward. But I was proud of the guys in the way they battled. We came back twice on 2 separate occasions, and we're able to make a game of it down the stretch. And I think that those type of things are what we use as learning experiences, and those things certainly propelled us into the game on Saturday.
I was just going to say that Saturday night was an excellent, marvelous rebound, if you will, especially for your goaltender, Chad Duran, on Saturday night. Touch on him just a little bit and picking up the win on Saturday, what that meant for the momentum of the hockey team.
It was, certainly he would be probably one of the first ones to admit, even though we kind of hung him out to dry a few times, that he could have certainly been better. And boy, he was. On Saturday, he was outstanding for us. He was poised back there. He made the routine saves like he needed to, and then he bailed us out on a couple occasions, especially early on. We had a couple breakdowns, which, had they scored, might have changed the outcome, at least the start of the games. And he was solid for us. And then we kind of spread out through the rest of the lineup. And for us, we were able to add some depth. We got a couple more players back in the lineup, Jordan Robertson. And then, of course, Connor Navarrete was able to get kind of into a regular groove for us. But, it was kind of a combination of all that stuff. We shored up our mistakes. We had solid goaltending. We battled all the way to the very end and were rewarded with a nice goal with 22 seconds left. So, it's a rivalry with Jamestown. Every game is tough. I mean, they've got solid goaltending. They're very well coached. And these are things that we look forward to in this rivalry. And we use it as a learning experience for our guys, and hopefully we get better. And that's exactly what the plan was all weekend.
5-1 for your hockey team right now. Can you pinpoint an Achilles heel for your club, something that you're really working on the X's and O's moving forward?
You know what? I think it's just continuity. You know what? We've got, particularly on our back end, we've got 4 new players back there that are young freshmen that are still kind of learning the college game. And not only that, trying to understand our roles. And, everybody knows the fall semester has been kind of all over the map in terms of our scheduling and games and those type of things. But for our guys, we're using it as a building blocks. You know what? We're fortunate enough that we were able to play in the fall here and, played 6 games so far and hopefully another 4 more here that would put us at nice 10 in the fall, and use those as good experience, hardworking, battling games, which will propel ourselves for the second semester and making a run at the national tournament again. So these are things that I know that are critical, and definitely things for our young program that I feel like that have been very beneficial.
Barley was a real bright spot for you guys on Friday night, a pair for him on the points column. Touch on him a little bit in this recruiting class. Minot State, again, it's not a rebuild, it's a reload, and that freshman class seems to have a few studs in it as well this year. You want to touch on those guys?
100%. Yeah, no, you hit it. I mean, that's just our culture. We're here to win now and win every time we can. I mean, that's the mentality of our program. And, last season, we lost some critical players up front, skilled players. We lost our leading scorer, Joel Swedlow. And, where do you replace these things? You do it either internally or through recruiting. And, Carter Barley's been great for us. He's a good young kid. And I feel like he really complements some of our guys. I mean, he's been looking great with a number of different players. And he's good, kind of a spark plug, but he provides some skill which really complements us, and it's kind of a need for us with the returning players that we had, and it's kind of a great recipe for our locker room. And I feel like we're building things together with what we've done in the fall, and some of these young guys are learning the college game, and hopefully they take it to the next level in the second semester.
That college game's fun to watch. We sure appreciate being a part of it. Great job on the weekend. Great news today that you guys continue, and I'm looking forward to the next matchups down the stretch before Christmas break.
You got it, Nick. We appreciate our partnership, and like I said, we'll all grow together.
Thank you. Wade Reger, head coach of the Minot State University Beavers. When we come back, we'll put a cap on the show today. It's ice time here on the PSP Network.
If you told me 10 years ago I'd be a dad, homeowner, and business partner, I wouldn't have believed it. There's lots of reasons I chose First Western.
Hey Lloyd, how are you today?
Locally owned, community invested, convenient, but most of all, whatever I need, wherever I am, I can count on them.
First Western Bank and Trust. You can bank on us.
Ice time here with Nick Kohlberg. We put a cap on the 17th of November episode here today. Keep in mind what we talked about at the start here today. Trying to stay positive, moving forward. Come to the ice ready and better than you were this last week, if you will. Try to find the positivity. It's going to be tough. I'm aware of it. I certainly am aware of it, but just keep that in mind. Try to be positive as we move forward and down the stretch. We'll be back with more Ice Time next week. We'll talk to Wade Reger again. We'll have our high school hockey preview as we look around the state and in North Dakota, on the west side of North Dakota. Join us next week for that. Thanks to all the sponsors. Thank you, the fans, for joining us. Till next time, good night and God bless.